What's good, gamers? Welcome back to each and every one of you. Ordinarily, I will just respond to Patreon messages in chat because why not? People ask questions and I love to give answers. Rolo Clint, however, over on Patreon asked some very interesting questions and he raised a number of very interesting points. And I was busy responding to him in a video that was meant exclusively for Patreon. And I thought, whoa, this is actually so good that I think it's worth sharing with the class. It's worth sharing with everyone. So we're going to get into it. We're going to break down his question into 3 or 4 parts. So this video doesn't really have an overall theme. So his first question relates to Amir Drasul, the Emerald Dream, the fact that we saw Ardenweald present within it. And he asked specifically about the Drust and the Drust's return. Could the Drust actually return? Now, in his question, he asks about the Void and whether or not the Drust is related to the Void. The question there is very difficult to answer because the Drust... So, firstly, what is the Drust? The Drust are druids that went from using quote-unquote life magic to using death magic instead, but still with a druidic undertone. If that is even a thing. But they're death druids, effectively, if you want to break it down that way. Very easy to see how Blizzard could invent another spec or even a class based on that, because that could actually be really cool, although maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe that could be one of those Euro talents for druids, where they become death druids instead. But okay, so never mind. Come on, Akalon, get back on track. The Drust are death druids. Now, I don't think the Drust are above using Old Gods or Void in order to get to their perfect galaxy or reality or whatever you want to call it. The problem with the Drust is that we have no idea what their perfect anything looks like. The Drust is criminally underexplored in World of Warcraft insofar as they were introduced in Legion. Actually, BFA, sorry. They were introduced in BFA. Drust var, greatest zone in BFA, hands down. And then not much. And then they came back in Shadowlands. But again, only for a short little while, and then nothing again. Nothing is known. We know that they wanted to invade Ardenweald for reasons, don't know. Although, maybe it does make sense in a way, since Ardenweald is in death, but it is a realm connected to life. Maybe the Drust argued that if they could get their hands on the heart of the forest, this could supercharge their power and maybe allow them to bring back their fallen leader. I don't know specifically, but to your point, whether or not the Drust is actually coming back, I would say the likelihood of this is incredibly high. And the reason for it is right at the end when Ysera says goodbye to us, you know, goodbye, farewell. Goodbye, farewell. Be on your merry way. That song. When she goes and she does her little number and she, you know, exits stage left, she says that she owes a friend. She's obviously speaking about Malfurion. She has to return so that Malfurion can return. The perfect time for Malfurion to return would be with some kind of Drust invasion. Now, I could absolutely see a world in which Midnight is the expansion. We have the Void, Xalatath, and the Nerubians, and maybe even some forces from the Void all arriving on Azeroth. We have the Light, entering stage right, and then we have the Drust just basically, fucking party crashing or gate crashing the whole party, because this is their moment. They appear to be sort of offenders of opportunity. When the opportunity presents itself, they will offend. Effectively, that's what the Drust are. And that would be the perfect moment for Malfurion to come back, now armed with a lot more information, maybe armed with some dirt on Ardenweald, because I still think that the Winter Queen is sus as hell. So maybe we get some dirt on Ardenweald specifically. Right, that's the first question sort of answered in that way. Next topic that Rolo brought up is about the creation of the Emerald Dream, and specifically the Boomkins. In one of the quests there, they ask you who created the Emerald Dream, and there are several possible answers, and the correct answer is Freya. This is wrong. Okay? Now, the reason this is wrong, and I know exactly which quest you're referring to, and yes, there's many possible answers to who created the dream. And the reason there's many possible answers is because the Titans have never been honest with us about the dream's creation. The Titans, sort of in themselves, don't know what to settle on. In the Chronicles, the Titans give like 4 different explanations for who could possibly have created the Emerald Dream. Freya is just a helper in all of those scenarios, but it is entirely possible, even plausible, that Freya would be the one that mortals, or at least mortal adjacent creatures, would believe had the biggest hand in it, because Freya was literally put in charge of it. Okay, so after the ordering that most likely happened with the help of Elune as well as Aeonor, in order to fully, and before you say, whoa, look at the dream. Look at all of the structures and all of the buildings in it. It's clear that there has been at least some hand of the Titans within the dream. And I believe that Freya would be the one who would do that. Right? Freya was the one sent into the dream to order it. So from the perspective of those boomkins, from the perspective of the Loa, yes, Freya makes sense. It does not make it correct. I still don't believe that we have the truth of what happened in the dream. I still do not believe that we will... I don't know if we'll ever know exactly how the dream came to be. My best guess at this point is that the dream is literally Azeroth's dream, and the Titans simply ordered it. Now remember, the Titans have no different word for ordering and creating. In their minds, nothing is created unless it's been ordered first. So if they arrived on Azeroth and they found this dream, and it's perfectly plausible, because what did Zovaal want to do? Zovaal wanted to change reality, and how did he want to do that? By dominating Azeroth. And I've already explained to you the links there. Azeroth controls the dream. By controlling Azeroth, you get control of the dream. By controlling the dream, you get control of reality, because now you can dream different beings and different balances into reality, because all of that comes from the dream. The Titans simply ordered it to ensure that Azeroth would be limited in what she could do with the dream. That's ultimately what I think the dream is about. And then finally, his question is about Zovaal and the reliance of Zovaal on a backup plan. Does Zovaal have a backup plan? The short answer, lore answer first, is yes, absolutely. I do not believe that a being as clever as Zovaal, a guy that literally planned every single step since Sargeras tens of thousands of years ago, would just not believe that it is possible for him to fail. He would probably have some kind of backup plan. Now, of course, we will have to wait and see how the Primus and the other Eternal Ones acted afterwards, because it's entirely possible that after we defeated him, they actually absorbed his soul, or caught his soul inside some kind of prison so that he wouldn't reincarnate, which is seemingly the natural way in which Eternal Ones go through their life cycles. If they do die, they will turn back into themselves by just uploading into a new construct. But there's always a way to sort of circumvent that. Maybe some crystal that absorbs his soul, and now he's captured in that soul. We already know that the Primus is the one that made the domination weapons. So the Primus is fully capable of building weapons and containment cells for souls. Even, most likely, souls as powerful as Eternal Ones. There's a good chance that Ramonia, the blade of Denathrius, who's also domination magic, a rune weapon, if you will, and the level of intelligence that Ramonia has, the fact that Ramonia can actually audibly speak and can do things without even being in the hands of Denathrius. What if Ramonia was once an Eternal One and turned into a blade, because they didn't need more Eternal Ones, but they did need more blades? Who knows, right? No one knows. I can see a world in which Zovaal comes back from a lore perspective. From a gameplay perspective, though, I think it becomes highly unlikely. Zovaal is arguably one of the most unlikable characters in World of Warcraft. So I don't see a world in which Blizzard just likely brings him back. They would have to have their backs well up against the wall for them to even broach the topic. I do think there are ways for you to do that, especially now the players already know Zovaal. You could bring him back, and since he already has a backstory, you could make a really cool story out of him now, but you'd have to give enough time for players to sort of get over it and, you know, be okay with him coming back. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. As for Denathrius, which was the second part of that point that you raised, Denathrius is 100% absolutely coming back. There are books that we found in Dragonflight that speaks about a new master. The demons have a brand new master, and this new master is making plans and moving things around, and things may or may not be happening. So I can see 100% Denathrius being that new master, and maybe not even new master. Denathrius may have always been the master of the demons. Always. And it is also possible that Denathrius wasn't always fully on board with Zovaal's plans. I'll get into that in a separate video, because that is actual speculation that we should talk about. For now, I hope that answers all of your questions. If you have any questions for me, you can ask me in Discord, or if you want to guarantee that I see them, you can ask me over on Patreon, $1 a month. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Thank you so much to all the patrons that support this channel. $1 a month keeps the channel free from sponsorships that want to sell you stuff that you do not need. Peace.